students, we'll start with the next session of stem cell chapter. This video lecture deals with application of stem cells in the treatment of muscular dystrophy. I think this is the session 5. Okay, we'll start with the first slide. Muscular dystrophy is a group of disease that cause a progressive weakness and a loss of muscle mass. In muscular dystrophy, because of abnormal genes and mutations, it interferes with the production of proteins which are needed to form a healthy muscle. So there are many kinds of muscular dystrophy. So in the picture, you can see the normal muscle and the weakened muscle in case of a muscular dystrophic condition. So muscles are important fibrous connective tissue of a human body, and they are primarily involved in the movements in connection with the bones of the skeleton. They are responsible for the beating of heart, closing of eyelids, and constitute the wall of the important organs in the body. And there are different types of muscles working in our body, such as cardiac muscle, skeleton muscles, and smooth muscles. So here I have shown you the picture of 3 different types of muscle: skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Skeletal muscles, they are present in the along with the bones. Cardiac muscle in the heart, and the smooth muscle you can see in the intestine. Muscular dystrophic condition comprises a heterogeneous group of genetic disorders. It is characterized by a progressive muscle wasting and weakness. In muscular dystrophics, a muscle dysfunction arises from a mutation of a gene encoding different cellular components, including protein associated with sarcolemma, extracellular matrix, nuclear membrane, and sarcomeric apparatus. Different forms of dystrophic differ in terms of age, onset of severity of symptomatic progression, and distribution of affected muscles. Depending upon the molecular etiology, the molecular dystrophics can present clinically relevant defects beyond the skeletal muscle compartment, and cardiac involvement is present in several forms of dystrophic condition. See the picture here, it is the structure of a whole muscle. This is a single bundle of muscle fibers, and this is a muscle fiber, single muscle fiber along with a membrane. And if you study this muscle fiber, it is the arrangement like this, along with a bilayer that is phospholipid bilayer along with the proteins. So in muscular dystrophic condition, there is an alteration of this dystrophin protein which is responsible for the stiffness, which is responsible for to keep the muscle intact. So there is a alteration in the this protein, dystrophin protein, in this muscular dystrophic condition. Then which is the gene involved? Here it is as X-linked dystrophin gene. Is by the largest of 19,000 genes that encode the proteins in the human genome. It has 76 exons, cover 2.6 million base pairs. Because of this large size makes the gene prone to rearrangement and recombination events that cause mutation. So in most cases, the mutations are deletions of one or more exons. In general, mutations that disturb the reading frame of the dystrophin transcript and lead to prematurely aborted dystrophin synthesis and causes this muscular dystrophy condition. Okay, this is this region which is responsible for the disease condition. So because of these genetic defects, the proteins that are formed by these genes are either absent or less functional. The group of proteins that are affected in different muscular dystrophies are often form a complex called dystrophin sarcoglycan complex. This dystrophin sarcoglycan complex is crucial to maintain the structure of cell wall of a muscle cell. Now myocyte, this is called a muscle cell. The muscle degeneration occurs due to the disruption of cell wall of myocyte even with the day-to-day muscle activity. This uncontrolled degeneration leads to progressive muscle death and therefore weakness, causing the muscular dystrophy, and the uncontrolled muscle death is the primary cause of the muscle weakness. The conventional medications include corticosteroids. So this is the commercial name of these corticosteroids, and that is prednisone and deflozacort. So which are the conventionally used for the muscular dystrophic treatment, but which can help the muscle strength and delay the progression of certain types of muscle dystrophy. But the prolonged case of the use of these corticosteroids can cause the weight gain and weaken bones and increasing the fracture risk. So you can see the difference between the normal biceps and the biceps with the muscular dystrophy, where you can see the degeneration of the muscle cell and the weakened muscle cells in case of the disease. Due to continuous muscle degeneration, there is a chronic inflammation that damages the muscle even more. As the stem cells that make new muscle cells are exhausted, so there is scarring of muscles and muscle cells are replaced with fat cells or connective tissue, causing the contractures. Not only in the muscles, but this dystrophin sarcoglycan complex is also present in the various non-muscular tissue like nerves, kidneys, spleen and Schwann cells. Therefore, the muscular dystrophics may show some neurological symptoms also. So, the symptoms appear in shoulders, heart, the lungs, the arms, trunk, hips and the legs. The muscle weakness appears in all these regions. So, how this muscular dystrophic condition can be treated with the stem cell therapy? So, first one, myogenic potential from the muscle institution, that is institutium. That is the use of the muscle stem cells for our muscle side population stem cells for the treatment of muscular dystrophy. The search of these myogenic cells suitable for cell therapy applications in muscle disease resulted in the identification of several candidates, mainly consisting of stromal cells that can be isolated from skeletal muscles itself. The muscle side population cells are the population of myogenic progenitors isolated from the human muscle cells. So they are one of the hope for the treating this condition by the stem cell therapy. The muscle side population cells, similar to bone marrow derived muscle side population cells, they give rise to muscular stem cells upon the transplantation. That means these muscle side population cells, they act as a stem cells to give rise to the muscle cell upon transplantation. So these muscle side population cells may influence the myogenic property and program through this parakine mechanism. This is one of the application where we can use this muscle side population cells to form these muscular stem cells at the region to induce the formation of new muscle cells at the region where muscle cells are degenerated. Okay, the second approach is myogenic stem or progenitor cells from skeletal muscle cells. The muscle stem cells are also known as satellite cells, which are responsible for muscle regenerative process. These muscle stem cells are marked by the expression of transcription factor and that are required for productive muscle repair. These satellite cells from skeletal muscle tissue possess a tremendous capacity for effective self-repair of acute damage. And these muscular stem cells are actively maintained in a quiescent state in the adult muscles but can quickly divide following the muscle injury, enter the cell cycle and give rise to proliferating myoblasts that ultimately differentiate and fuse with the process of tissue repair. And these activated muscle stem cells also undergo a self-renewal and maintain the population of adult stem cells. That is also one approach where the muscle stem cells, they are also called as satellite cells. They can induce the formation of new muscle cells. The third approach, it is by use of mesenchymal stem cells. As I told you in the previous diseases also, where mesenchymal stem cells, they have the capacity to form different kinds of cells, and these are also possible to induce these mesenchymal stem cells to form muscle cells. So over the past 2 decades, the different stroma cell types are known to exhibit a peculiar paracrine and secretory functions, so that have been tested for potential treatments for muscular dystrophies. So although many studies demonstrate that ability of mesenchymal stem cells to engraft in skeletal muscles, so their ability to enhance the muscle contractile force is unclear, but the study says that suggested that potential for the induction of muscle cells. Potential for transplanted mesenchymal stem cells give rise to muscle stem cells. And notably, in some of these studies, these mesenchymal stem cells derived from non-murine tissues were successfully transplanted into immunocompetent mice, and supporting the idea that mesenchymal stem cells have a immune that is evasive properties, and these are one of the hopes to get the treatment of muscular dystrophy for regeneration of muscle cells. So these are the mesenchymal stem cells. They have the potency to form different types of cells like adipocytes, epithelial cells, chondrocytes, myocytes. Okay, now we are interested in the formation of these myocytes to treat the muscular dystrophy condition. The next approach is by cardiosphere derived cells. Recent evidence suggests that promising role of cardiac population of stromal cells referred as a cardiosphere derived cells, that is CDCs. These preclinical studies evaluated the beneficial effects of in dystrophic heart, and these cardiosphere derived cells delivered systematically in the mice improved the skeletal muscle phenotypes. However, these effects appear to be due not to genetic restoration of dystrophin, but rather to effects possibly related to exosomes secreted by the transplanted cells. Now, interestingly, in a clinical trial of this intracoronary injection of these cardiosphere derived cells in 25 these muscular dystrophic patients, a measure of upper limb strength was greater in the 13 treated patients compared with the 12 controls, and these findings have led to the additional clinical trial in which these cardiosphere derived cells were injected intravenously in a cohort of this muscular dystrophic patients. And next, it is bone marrow derived blood-borne cells. So these are also applied for the treatment of muscular dystrophy, and despite the initial enthusiasm that bone marrow derived hemopoietic cells might serve as a source of myogenic progenitus, and that bone marrow transplantation could then be treatment for muscular dystrophies. So long-term studies in which the bone marrow transplantation was performed in mice and found a negligible effect. Only 0.09% of the myofibers became chimeric during the entire lifespan of, that means it was studied on mice, and the negative results were confirmed in a study performed in the dystrophic dogs. The insufficient contribution of cells of hemopoietic lineage into myofibers were also observed in this muscular dystrophic patients. So they have studied in animal models, and they have also observed in the that is muscular dystrophic patient. The action of stem cells in the treatment of muscular dystrophy. So here you can see that nuclear repair by reduced inflammation, and angiogenesis means formation of new blood vessels, and increasing trophic factors, that is growth factors and muscle degeneration, and they increase the activation of satellite cells. Okay, these are the role of stem cells in the treatment of MD, that is muscular dystrophy. Next one, it is use of embryonic stem cells. Pluripotent stem cells comprising embryonic stem cells and induced pluripotent stem cells are particularly appealing in regenerative medicine because they can be propagated indefinitely in the undifferentiated state, but retain the capacity to differentiate to all somatic tissues. So this picture I have already shown you that protocols to obtain the muscle progenitors from these pluripotent stem cells are creating possibilities of the cell therapy, where from the patient itself somatic cells are isolated, that is adult somatic cells, and these are induced to form a stem cell that is called pluripotent stem cells, and these pluripotent stem cells, they have the potency to form any other kind of cells. So in that, so formation of muscle cells is also is one of the application where we can use these muscle cells for the treatment of muscular dystrophy. The next approach is by direct reprogramming of myogenic progenitus. So the protocols are involving overexpression of myogenic regulatory factors that have been proposed to efficiently derive these myogenic progenitor cells from the sources and different form these pluripotent stem cells in the process of direct programming that is applicable to fibroblast from this muscular dystrophic patient. This approach was also used to generate a myogenic progenitus for testing the transplantation. Transplantation was studied in mice, and the direct reprogramming of accessible autologous cell types may represent a clinically relevant alternative pluripotent stem cells derived cells. Okay, this is a pluripotent stem cells, inflamed factors where we can make them as a muscle cells. Okay, for induction we can make them as a different types of cells, like it is I have shown you a muscle cell, blood cell, skin cell, and a neuron after differentiation. So these are all the different approaches where the stem cell therapy can be applied for the treatment of muscular dystrophy. Finally, the conclusion of this application, the scientists have proved that our body has a different source of stem cells in the different organs, so which are not being utilized by them. So these sources of stem cells can now be exploited to isolate the rich population of stem cells, and which when infused into muscles can replace the damaged muscle cells with the healthy muscular fibers and reduce the inflammation associated with the muscular dystrophy, thereby slowing the progression of disease. Okay, this is inactive muscle due to the muscular dystrophy and the active muscle cell after the stem cell treatment. Okay, the stem cells are promising in the treatment of this disease. The stem cell isolations from the adipose tissue, they are grown in vitro and they are isolated. After they are isolated, then they are intravenously given to the affected region, where this is called stem cell transplant into the patient, where you can see the active muscle after stem cell treatment. Okay, so this is the one of the hope and promise for treating these patients. So thank you for watching. Keep watching